Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu students. I am Sabir Hasnain, your science subject teacher from grade 8. In this video lecture, we will discuss about the ingredients, two major ingredients used in making or baking a cakes, which is relevant to our topic in which we discussed about the reactions between acid and metal carbonates. So through that we can understand the reaction as well. If you remember, there are four major processes through which we can make metal. Out of those four methods, we discussed the third one in last one as the last one, in which acid reacts with metal carbonates. In this, if you remember the reaction, the example is whenever acid and metal carbonates react with each other, they gives us metal salt, carbon dioxide and water. A concern is just related to the carbon dioxide and acid and metal carbonates for making or baking cake. So whenever we make or bake a cake, in cake recipes we use flour and baking powder. So when we use flour and baking powder is a mixture of bicarbonates of soda. So bicarbonates of soda is sodium, hydrogen carbonate, which is NaHCO3. N stands for sodium, H for hydrogen, and C for carbon, and O for oxygen as well. And with the weak acid, tartaric acid, which is C4H6 and O6. When we mix these two, they give us the carbon dioxide is released during the reaction. So whenever bicarbonates of soda is heated or reacted with an acid, carbon dioxide is given off. So whenever the carbon dioxide is given off, actually that will increase the size of the cake. If you remember the previous size of the cake before making or baking, and after that size is greater than as compared to the previous size. This is just because of the bubbles present inside that cake. So that's why these two ingredients are important for making or baking a cake. Now let's try to understand the question answer test yourself exercise from page 126-127. In question 1, they are saying which elements does calcium carbonate contain. So you know the formula of calcium carbonate, that is CaCO3. When the formula of calcium carbonate is CaCO3, it means it contains calcium, number 2 carbon, and number 3 oxygen. And now question number 2, what is produced when hydrochloric acid reacts with calcium carbonate? So look, it is actually the example of acid reacts with carbonates. So when HCl reacts with calcium carbonate, it gives us metal salt, which is CaCl2, and gives off calcium, carbon dioxide, produce carbon dioxide and water as well. So the conclusion is from the reaction, calcium chloride is produced as a metal salt, carbon dioxide is produced, and water is produced during the reaction. Now third question is, write a word equation for the reaction between nitric acid and lead carbonate. So again, it's an example of a reaction between acid and the carbonates. When nitric acid reacts with a lead carbonate, it gives lead nitrate as a metal salt, carbon dioxide and water. This is the same reaction we already discussed in previous videos. So now the second part of the question is write down a chemical equation between the nitric acid and lead nitrate. So the chemical equation will be nitric acid is HNO3, lead carbonate is PbCO3, and on the product side lead nitrate, which is PbNO3, and whole bracket 2, this is a metallic salt, carbon dioxide CO2, and water, which is H2O. This is the chemical reaction for the reaction. Now the fourth question: if a lighter splint is put into the carbon dioxide, the flame goes out. So if you remember, the lighter splint is actually not good for the test of carbon dioxide. This test is for the test for hydrogen gas. So when in fact, if we use carbon dioxide to get rid of the smoke or get rid of flame, so that's why this is not used for carbon dioxide. This test is lighter splint is a test for hydrogen gas. And the second thing, describe a more suitable test for carbon dioxide. So if you remember a test for carbon dioxide, suitable test for the carbon dioxide, which is colorless and odorless, that is actually carbon dioxide reacts with the lime water. So whenever we mix carbon dioxide with the lime water quickly turns from a colorless to a cloudy solution, and this is how we can test the carbon dioxide. And the last question, fifth question: what is baking powder? And the second part of the question is, explain how baking powder makes cakes rise. Again, we already discussed these two parts in the previous video lectures. If you remember, baking powder is a mixture of carbonates of soda, which is sodium, hydrogen carbonate, that is NaHCO3, and a weak acid, which is tartaric acid, C4H6 and O6. They are used in that is actually a mixture where these two are mixed with each other. And the second part, explain how baking powder makes a cake rise. If you remember, whenever the metal carbonates reacts with the acid, they gives off the carbon dioxide in bubble form. So due to the reaction, carbon dioxide released. So the point is, whenever the bicarbonates of soda is heated and reacts with acid, carbon dioxide is given off. So that's why the shape of the cake or the size of the cake before making is smaller, and after making, that is the size of the cake is larger than before making, and because the bubbles actually present over there, which increases the size of the cake. So I hope there is no confusion about any question and the topic as well. So keep in mind, in these three lectures we discuss about whenever acid reacts with metal carbonates, it gives us metal salt, carbon dioxide, and water as well. Thank you very much. Stay blessed.